Alright, Shalom. First, I want to give all praises, glory, and honor to Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahushai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone that rule well, that taught us truth, and blesses the elect of the nation Israel, and the remnant of Israelites who are scattered worldwide, who are predestined to be saved. This is Brother Yakao coming with a very short video, and Lord willing, you brothers and few sisters will be edified. And this video is just a perfect example, alright, of Ecclesiasticus in the Apocrypha 12 and 10, where the Lord says never trust your enemy. Alright, never trust your enemy. Never trust your enemy. Alright, we'll go into it right now. Ecclesiasticus, this is in the Apocrypha 12 and 10. Never trust thine enemy, for like iron rusteth, so is his wickedness. So just like iron, when you expose it outside to the elements, it will rust. All right, that's the way the so-called white man has hatred for us. Okay, verse 11. Though he humble himself and go crouching, and a great example of that is when he went to America with the tribe of Gad and the Seminole Indians, who are the tribe of Reuben. He humbled himself. All right, because he didn't know the terrain, he didn't know the weather, he got sick. You know, they were going there and just digging for gold rather than looking for actual, food to sustain them. Gad had to help them. So they humbled themselves and went crouching. And then literally a couple of decades later, they are on reservations and the white man has got the fat of the land. Okay. And by the way, there's riots going on over here in the UK, and I did do a video on it last week. A couple of videos on it, and I'm going to do a follow-up to it because everything has got a lot worse. There's this woman on the news, a white woman, that said, I feel like the Native Americans. You know, I feel like them. I feel how the Native Americans felt when white people came there. You know, they took over the Native Americans' land. I feel the same. This is what's going on now. That's utter garbage, man. And that shows you how weak they are. Alright? Shows you how weak they are, making a statement like that. And, you know, no one is slaughtering white people in the UK in mass amounts. Like Gad. We're not giving you smallpox in blankets. So this is madness, man. So though he humble himself and go crouching, yet take good heed and be aware of him. See, this is what the Lord is saying. Be aware of him. And thou shalt be unto him as thou hast wiped a looking glass. And thou shalt know that his rust, meaning his hatred, have not been altogether wiped away. So just because they're smiling and saying good morning, how are you, this, that, and the other, their hatred is still there for the 12 tribes of Israel. You blacks that went into slavery in ships, you Hispanics of Indian descent, and by the way, you went into slavery in ships as well. The white man has tried to hide that. And you Native Americans and Seminole Indians, and by the way, you went into slavery in ships as well. I've done videos upon that, man. I'm gonna have to do another video on that subject because this devil has hit that very well. Now this is a story that we had a session yesterday in our camp. We had a sit down. I did say that every 2 weeks we're going to be sitting down, whether it be at my house or another brother's house or at different locations, all right, and doing a topic. And yesterday was the first one. We did it on integrity, because integrity is very important in this truth, and that's what Yahushua had, integrity, and that's what we're going to have in these last days. All right. Now after this video I will rip it because it's on our other channel and put it on this one. Okay, and it's quite long, it's like 2 hours and stuff, but it's edifying. Okay, but this footage you're about to see is about an Israelite woman who unfortunately is destroyed for lack of knowledge, and I'm not going to be too hard on her. She joined the white man's army, and this is what she got in return.
The British Army has admitted that a black soldier who fronted several recruitment campaigns had to work in an unacceptable environment where she experienced sexist and racist harassment. As well as apologising, the army has paid the soldier a substantial financial sum. Kerry Ann Knight, who left the army this year, has been talking for the first time to our defence correspondent Jonathan Beale.
This is just, that's the section I was in. Yeah, you spot me?
I can spot you.
Yeah.
Kerry Ann Knight always knew she'd stand out. In an army struggling to recruit both women and ethnic minorities.
Were you the only black person in the
Yeah, I was the only a black female.
But she joined full of hope, assuming racism had long been stamped out.
For some reason I thought someone in uniform was going to be professional, and I was very excited to be a part of that and just creating my own family within the army.
Kerry Ann became a face for army recruitment. She knew why the army wanted to appeal to the groups she represented. But she also became a target for abuse.
I was extremely shocked because I really didn't experience such deep levels of racism. Yeah, I had to learn the hard way in the army.
It got worse when she became an instructor at Harrogate. It's where the army trains junior soldiers from the age of 16. It's controversial, not least because in the past there'd been allegations of bullying. Kerry Ann says she witnessed it, but she too suffered at the hands of her fellow white male instructors.
They'd pile everything daily on my desk, so just to show me that I'm not welcomed. And I remember one day they took a photo of me just standing at that desk, looking slightly broken, just having to sort out that rubbish before I can use my desk.
You see that? So basically, they, you know, because she's not wanted, because she's an Israelite woman, so-called black woman, they basically piled rubbish on her desk. I mean, look at this. This is Amazon boxes. These are letters and parcels. And they did that to her on a day-to-day basis. Wow, man. I mean, Henry the Hoover, man. Look at this. This is a Hoover. This is a Hoover brand. They put that to show her that she was unwanted.
They'd have Django Unchained playing. They would repeat the most, say, racist lines, and then they'd chuckle. They spoke outright in the office about lynching me, simply because I'd put in a complaint.
Wow.
And it was suggested for me to be tar and feathered.
Rather than root out the racism, she says the army closed ranks to protect the organisation.
When they tried to paint out as if I was a aggressive black woman, that was extremely tough. If it wasn't for those individuals who supported me, whether secretly or publicly, yeah, I would have been broken.
Earlier this year, she took her case to an employment tribunal. The army contested it, but as the evidence mounted, it issued an apology. It accepted Mrs. Knight had to work in an environment where she experienced racist and sexist harassment.
Wow.
It admitted the army failed her. In a separate statement, the MOD said it had settled the claim with no admission of liability.
There you go, you see?
I never encourage a woman, especially of colour, to join the army, because it's not going to benefit your life in the long run.
That's right. It's not going to benefit your life in the long run. And because she's good looking, right? They basically put her basically on their recruitment posters. And I've noticed that. All right, I've noticed that. If you look up the British Army adverts, they're always putting our people in it. All right, they're always putting our people in it. All right, look. I just put British Army. Look, woke British Army. You know, they're always trying to basically what's the word? they are trying to recruit more black and Asian army people. They're trying to make out like they're tolerant, all right, and they're not. This is a good example, man. It's Muslim. See? See? Be the best, be the army. So they're trying to recruit blacks and Asians, you know, especially Muslims into the army. If that was the reality, and you had a guy like that who was Asian, yeah, and he stopped on a train exercise to do his prayers, they'd beat the shit out of him, man. Alright, they'd beat the shit out of him, they'd shit on the Quran, they'll do all kinds of wickedness, man. I'm telling you, there was an actual, there was a program, there was a documentary about racism in UK Army, and it was shocking, man. All right, there you go, racism in the ranks. This is it. Okay.
A lot of people don't want to talk because you talk, your career is screwed.
See, bullying, harassment.
How good a soldier were you?
I was named best recruit, so that says it all, innit?
Really?
Yeah.
Did you have a nickname?
Yeah, Black Dave.
I've never called him that.
We did have another Dave within the platoon, but he was English and he was white, so...
You didn't mind being called Black Dave, but when did it go too far?
As I said, I mean, he's a growing person. If it's just banter, it's just banter. You know, I'll probably laugh at it 90% of the time. But with the senior, you know, if you say something, you get court-martialed, you get shitty jobs. That's why a lot of people don't want to talk, because you talk, your career is screwed.
Particularly from your senior colleagues, the racial slurs that you weren't comfortable with, which you complained about and continued.
That certain person was breathing down my neck, whether it's on a Friday night when you're getting ready to disperse. I found myself on continuous duties every Friday, going home really late, called me a black cunt in front of everyone, and no one said nothing.
Really?
Yeah.
There you go.
I think that was the most part that pushed me to the edge.
There you go, man. We don't need to get any more, man. All right. That shows you, man. So what is the lesson here? The lesson is follow the scriptures. All right. Follow the scriptures. All right. Don't follow society. All right. Oh, multiculturalism and let's all old hands. Follow Yahweh Bashim Yahushua and his instructions. All right. It says that they're our enemy, man. And they created what? Crafty counsel. All right. They've taken crafty counsel against thy people. You are God's people. But to them, you're just a nigger. That's how they see us. Okay. So that's the lesson here, man. All right. And for our people, and the sit down we did yesterday was on integrity. All right. And our integrity is going to be, what's the word? Tested in these last days. All right. Our integrity is going to be tested big time, man. Now, I've lined up a few scriptures here. All right. This is King David, psalmist. All right. And if you look at the top bit here, it says psalmist in sickness complains of enemies and false friends. See, the so-called white man is a false friend. All right. He's a false friend. He's your enemy, man. Okay. He's your enemy. All right, this is Psalms 41:7. All that hate me whisper together against me. All right, and that's what they were doing to that girl. I mean, can you imagine? You're working in the army, and they start playing Django Unchained. All right, Can you imagine going into a room and there's all crackers in the room, all devils in the room, all right, and you're supposed to be unwinding, and they put on a DVD player Django Unchained, and they put the scenes where we're being called nigger and this, that, and the other, and you're the only black person in the room. Do you know how evil that is? Only an evil, sick bastard mind would even think of something like that. So all that hate me whispered together against me. Against me do they devise my hurt. All right, and that's what they did to her. Okay, so the main point is they are still the enemy today. So don't be fooled about it. Yes, in work, we have to work with them and so forth. And listen, my old nurse, sickle cell nurse, Benjamin, she worked in my hospital. She's gone now, right? She's moved to a different workplace, etc. But she worked in my hospital. She worked in my hospital and they were bullying her. The doctor that looks after me was bullying her. The counselor that used to counsel me, because I almost died in 2012, they were bullying her. They were bringing in a job application saying there's a job in this hospital. Why don't you apply for it? You know, one person grabbed her head and shook her. They were taking the piss out of this woman, man. And even they were physically and mentally bullying her to the point where she had a mild heart attack and was off work for 9 months. And not one of them crackers, not one of these devils actually rang her and said, how you are. As soon as she came back, they just put a big load of work on her desk and told her to get on with it. So that's similar to what happened to that black woman in the army. All right. You have to understand the position that we are in. All right. This is Jeremiah 12:7. Because of our sins, what has the Lord done? I have forsaken my house. That's the house of Israel. All right. All 12 tribes. I've left mine heritage. I have given the dearly beloved of my soul into the hand of her enemies. And the number one enemy is the Edomites. So understand this, that they are the enemy and God has given us into their hand. So when we are not walking, or we're not trying to walk in accordance with his will, or if the Lord has not woken you up to his truth, you're going to make decisions that are delusions. That black woman made a decision to go into the army, and it was a delusion. Okay? It was a delusion, man. You know? It was a delusion. Same with him. Another Jake. Delusion. Okay? And by the way, if you look at the comments on these videos, alright, and you can, there's see look, racism in the UK, an officer story, an Asian one. There's all kinds of stories, man. Alright? Look at that. Another one. See? Soldier on racism in the British Army. So it's one of them institutions that is just not going to change. Okay? And they don't want it to change. To the point where the instructors were being racist, calling people black cunts. There was Jaffites there, people who were from Fiji. And basically, these Fijians, all right, one of them was beaten over the head by another guy in the army, and they tried to drag him and kill him. They even started to dig a hole. They knocked him out unconscious, and they were digging a hole in the army barracks, in you know, like a grass ditch. And when he woke up, they were about to put him in that ditch. Incredible, man. So listen, this man is your enemy, but the Lord gave us into the hands of our enemies. All right, so we work to get our daily bread, but when it comes to institutions like that, the army, stay well clear, man. All right, stay well clear. Stay well clear. Even football, though it pays well, a lot of money, you're a black player and you score a goal, them white supporters are going to call you all kinds of words. Money's not worth it, man. Have your integrity. All right. So the Lord has given us into the hands of our enemies. So we have to move smart. And that's where this truth comes in, you know. That's where this truth is like a, you know, like when someone goes to the beach and they're drowning, you know, like a lifeguard, they give you a life jacket or they'll throw something so you can grab onto it so you don't drown. This truth is like a life jacket, man. Okay, it is. It will save you. All right, this is Job 8:22. All right, because eventually, remember, when Yahushua comes back, it's going to be trading places, man. All right, they that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and they should be ashamed of that, man. That's a woman, and according to the instructors, were mainly men, so they were bullying a woman, man. It doesn't take much to bully a woman. They that hate thee shall be clothed with shame, and the dwelling place of the wicked shall come to naught. So all those people in the British Army, remember that if the Lord puts them to death in the last days, that'll be good. But anyway, they're going to be reincarnated or reborn in the kingdom. We're going to know exactly who these people are, and we're going to torture them, man. We're going to do great things in righteousness, all right, against our enemies in the kingdom. All right, this is their kingdom. That's why they can do the wickedness that they're doing and think they're going to get away with it. They're not going to get away with it. Okay? All right? The dwelling place of the wicked shall come to naught, man. All right? I don't know who these people think they are. But until then, we have to be patient. And the word patient means to suffer. But let's walk wisely, man. All right? Going and being in the British Army is not wise, man. My mum went to a hospital, the one that I go to, and she said, oh, one of your cousins is in hospital. And I said, which cousin now? And she named his name, and she said, oh, he's at Sandhurst. I said, what the hell's that? Oh, it's the army. He's training to be a British Army soldier. I said, he's from Sierra Leone, and he's training to be a British Army soldier. Yeah, he had a training exercise, and he got injured, and now he's in a hospital just down the road. Oh, you know what? I said to my mum, I refuse to see that guy, man. That's how pissed I was that he joined the white man's army. I'm telling you, I was that livid. She was like, oh, you shouldn't be like that, this, that. I was ashamed, man, that someone with my blood pumping through his veins joined the British Army and got injured. Good for that guy, man. All right, this is Brute 4:25. My children suffer patiently. Patiently means to suffer. All right, patiently the wrath that has come upon you from God. And mostly, remember, man's goings are of the Lord. Remember, God controls the left and he controls the right. The wicked things that go on in the world and the righteous things that go on in the world. So the Lord made her go through that. And that's a good example for everyone else who's even thinking of joining the white man's army. All right. And by the way, that happens in America, man. That happens in America, man. Yesterday, we saw a little clip of a Jake who must have got blown up in Iraq or Afghanistan. And he was hideously disfigured, man. I'm not going to lie to you. And he put a little short on YouTube, It's sad that he got blown up for the white man's cause. Okay? For thine enemy have persecuted thee, all right? But shortly thou shalt see his destruction, and thou shalt tread upon his neck. And when you tread upon someone's neck, right? If you have someone down the ground and you got their foot on their neck, they can't do nothing, man. They just choke slowly and die. Okay? That's a metaphor for the low condition that our enemies, especially the so-called white man, is going to be in the kingdom. All right? But while we're on this earth, the Lord has given us instructions. And one of them is what? All right? Ecclesiasticus 6:13. Separate thyself from thy enemies. So yeah, you got to work with them. You got to do this and that. But separate from them. Once you finish work. And that's the thing with the army. In the army, you have to be in a barracks. You have to live there. So when you go for breakfast, you have to go to a hall. And all your enemies are there. Then you have to train together. Then you have to socialize together unless you want to be a loner. Okay? Alright? So it's not wise all right, to join the white man's army, man. Separate thyself from thy enemies and take heed of thy friends. All right, and when it says take heed of thy friends, people that are of the world are in the world. All right, because they can get you killed, man. Okay, see, these are instructions that will save your life. Okay, all right. Verse 14: a faithful friend is a strong defense. And you saw that black woman, that Israelite woman. She said, if it wasn't for a few people that stood up for me behind the scenes and openly, they would have broke me. So she had the Lord gave her a couple of faithful friends. A faithful friend is a strong defense, and he that have found such and one have found a treasure. All right. And that's true, man. You know, so, and that goes with the brotherhood that we have in the camp as well. You know, when the Lord sifts a camp and he sifts the niggers out of a camp, you know, don't reminisce over it, because they weren't brothers in the first place. All right, they weren't brothers in the first place. As simple as that. They weren't brothers in the first place. That's the main thing. All right. Let's see. One more couple of scriptures and we're going to close. All right, because the Lord is going to save us from our enemies, man. Ultimately. All right. This is another psalm. This is Psalms 18 and 3. And you should know who your enemy is now. All right. And Psalms 18 and 3. I will call upon the Lord. And when it says Lord in caps, it says Yahweh. So I will call upon Yahweh, who is worthy to be praised. So shall I be saved from my enemies. So one important thing in this truth is to pray, man. Is to pray for your salvation. You can pray for your family, you know, that the Lord will protect them in these last days. All right, because things are really getting heated over here in the UK, man. Lawlessness, blacks and Asians are getting targeted. Their houses are getting smashed. I'm going to do a video on that to show you. All right. Okay. All because of these 3 young girls being killed. And they said the suspect was a black guy. Which is all probably a psyops. But people are angry. And they've taken it out on people that they hate. Anyway, they have hatred in their heart for us. Okay. But know this. That anytime they touch our people in any way, whether that Israelite's wicked or not, you know, because no one perishes being innocent. All right, the Lord is gonna do a lot more. What's it called? The judgment from the Lord will be a lot more harsher than the judgment. All right, how he judges us. He's gonna judge our enemies very sternly, man, in these last days. Believe that, man. All right. This is Wisdom of Solomon 12 and 22. Therefore, whereas thou doest chastising us, thou scourgest our enemies 1,000 times more. And the Lord can do that in many ways. He can summon Leviathan to come out of the Atlantic, and he can come on, you know, to San Francisco, California, you know, and step on you Edomites. The Lord can do anything, man. He could tell the chariot, his angels, listen, send a tornado over that way and let them lose all their houses. Okay? So that's why we need favor from the Lord. All right? To the intent that when we judge, we should think carefully. We should carefully think of thy goodness. And when we ourselves are judged, we should look for mercy. All right? So that's what we have to do in these last days. We have to move very smartly. Unfortunately for that woman and that, you know, that black guy and that black woman, all right, those Israelites, they didn't move smartly, man, joining the white man's army. Okay? It doesn't matter what you do. He said that he was a top recruit, and I guess he was. But they have so much hatred for us. Okay? So I hope that lessons learned is just a short video. I will upload this video of our sit down that we had yesterday, which is on integrity, and I hope you were edified. To the next one, shalom.